Donald Trump may be about to get played again when he meets Putin in Alaska on Friday. In fact, there's so much confusion on the American side as to what Putin might be willing to offer at this hastily convened summit that it's best to look at what's ahead through the eyes of the Kremlin. For Putin, just scoring the one-on-one with Trump is a win. He can use the meeting to more permanently diffuse Trump's threat of sanctions. They were supposed to take effect on August the 8th, but that deadline was deferred as soon as the summit was set. Putin can also use this meeting to further his war effort, for example, by driving a wedge between the US and Ukraine, but the one thing that he doesn't need is for it to make a lasting peace deal. The Kremlin's first task was to make sure that Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, wouldn't also be at the table, because that would have required a genuine negotiation, including the kinds of concessions that Putin has absolutely no interest in making. Alone with Trump, he can offer terms that the US president might agree to, but that Ukraine can't, turning Trump's frustrations on Zelensky instead of on the Kremlin. The second priority was to find a location to highlight Putin's status as a top-table international leader, also Russia's history as a great power, and the fact that borders do get changed. A return trip to Alaska checks all those boxes. This is the first time that Putin received an invitation to the US since 2007. That's before he invaded Georgia and then Ukraine, so it's a rehabilitation of sorts. It also shows other nations that he can travel even to the US without fear of arrest under the warrant for war crimes that was issued by the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Plus, Alaska once belonged to Russia until 1867 when it was sold to the US. Trump says Putin is ready for a land swap, but there's no sign of that, just of a demand for Zelensky to hand over territory in exchange for a ceasefire. That's a non-starter for Kiev, which is just fine by Putin, because his main aim in Alaska will be to manage Trump. Putin needs the US president not to get so impatient with Russia's refusal to end the war that he starts imposing real costs through new sanctions or worse, restarting military aid to Kiev. A genuine peace would do nothing to further Putin's war goals, which remain to control Ukraine and secure a NATO-free sphere of influence in Eastern Europe. So he's ready for a summit, but the US side is not. Trump would be better off delaying to first apply the pressure needed for Putin to want to negotiate. There will be a time and a place for this meeting, but that's unlikely to be this Friday in Alaska.